We offer all of our services free, so we will not charge you anything. You can just give me a call and we can talk about your issue. So briefly, I just want to talk a little bit about what's been going on the past week now that this executive order has been signed. If you are planning to travel, then I would recommend and advise that if you are not a U.S. citizen and you are planning to travel outside of the United States, that you should postpone that travel because you may not be able to come back to the country right now. There's a lot of unknowns. We don't know what's going to happen in the next coming weeks and months. So it's probably best and more safe and prudent to stay put and let's wait until the dust settles and these lawsuits make their way through the courts and we can get a better idea of what's going to happen to people on visas and green cards when they come back into the country. If you are a U.S. citizen, then you don't have to worry about it. You have to be allowed back into the country, and there's definitely no question about that. That will always remain true. So if you have a citizenship in this country, then you really don't have to worry. If you have dual citizenship, which means that you might be a citizen of one of the 7 countries listed in the executive order, bring your passport for America with you and use that to travel. Do not bring your passport for the other country, and you should have no problems and you'll be able to come back into the country. If you're on a green card, it's a little less clear. We're not exactly sure what's happening. They claim that they're going to let people back in with a green card, but I don't trust their word, and I think that it's just best to err on the side of caution. And if you're on a visa, then if you leave the country, it's pretty much guaranteed that you will not be coming back into the country as it stands right now. So it's very important to make sure that you do not leave the country if you have a visa. I'll just say a quick word about what happens if you start to face additional scrutiny and questioning at the airport. Let's say you come back to the States and you get randomly selected for additional scrutiny. They can only ask you questions about your travels. So where did you go? Where were you? How long were you there for? Who did you see? Those questions you have to answer. But if they ask questions outside of that scope, if they start to ask you questions that don't relate to your immediate trip and what you were just doing wherever you were, those questions should not be asked and those questions should not be answered. You have the right to not answer those questions. We've been getting reports that they ask you about, are you a Shia? Are you a Sunni? Where do you pray? What does the Imam talk about during the khutbah? Those kinds of questions are absolutely not allowed, and we advise you strongly to not answer those questions. If you are a U.S. citizen, you have the right to ask for an attorney. So if you feel that you aren't sure what's happening, you want to talk to somebody, then tell them that you want to talk to an attorney. They may not let you, but you absolutely have the right to ask. And you also have the right to remain silent and don't speak. If you are on a green card, you also have the right to an attorney, and we would again advise you to ask the police for an attorney. Say you want to talk to an attorney. If you're carrying one of these cards, then my number's on there and you can give me a call. If you are a visa and you're coming back into the country, you don't have as many rights. You don't have a right necessarily to speak with an attorney, but just keep in mind that you don't have to answer questions about your religion, about your faith, about what you believe, about how often you pray, where you pray, all those kinds of questions. We've been getting reports that they're being asked pretty frequently. You do not have to answer those questions. You never have to speak with law enforcement other than if they're asking you questions about your trip and you're trying to come back into the country. If they want to search your computer or your phone, if you're a U.S. citizen or you have a green card, we recommend that you do not give them permission for that. You do not have to give them permission to search those items. You should put a password on your phones and on your computers and before you go on your trip. And if they want to take your laptop out or they want you to take your phone and they want you to turn it on to show them that it's just a regular phone or a regular computer, then that's fine, but don't give them the password to open the computer or the phone. You do not have to do that. If you're a visa holder and you're coming into the States and they want to look through your computer or your phone, it's a little not clear at the moment. There are some cases that are working their way through the courts right now. It does appear that you may have to do that. So if you're a visa holder, there's different rules that apply. If you don't let them look through your phone or your computer, they may not let you into the country. So you're going to have to use your judgment about whether or not you want to, face that risk. But if you're a citizen or you have a green card, definitely do not provide them the information to access your phone or your computer. They do have the right to search your bags and search your person. They can do that. So if they do, then there's nothing really you can do about that. But the phone and the computer, that's a separate story, and they do need more belief that you're engaged in some kind of suspicious behavior to access those things. So that's just kind of a very brief overview of what your rights are. I'll just also add that if FBI or law enforcement, they come to your house or they come to your job, don't speak with them. You never have to speak with law enforcement. You always have the right to remain silent. We always advise people to speak with attorneys before speaking with law enforcement. And it applies to everybody. And I'm not saying, and a lot of people will say, well, I don't have anything to hide. Why can't I just speak with the officer and just get it done with? And I understand that mentality, but it's sometimes what happens is even though you don't have anything to hide, and I don't think anybody here does, they can try to trip you up and trap you and get you to unknowingly make a false statement to the police, and then all of a sudden, that's a felony and it's a federal offense, and now all of a sudden you can be sent to jail for 8 years. So even if you don't have anything to hide, it doesn't mean that you're not putting yourself at risk by speaking with law enforcement. So just give me a call, we can talk about it, obviously it's free of charge, I can contact them on your behalf, and then we can go from there. But it's never a good idea to talk to them on your own without first talking to an attorney. And again, all this information is fit on this card, so I have about 700 with me, so come up and take them and pass them out to people. And if you have any questions, please give me a call. Thank you.
Yeah, I have the first question. Does that apply, the travel restrictions, apply to all the countries other than the 7 countries which you mentioned, which are mentioned in the EU the executive order?
So, if you have a visa from, let's say,
India.
Right, India. As of now, they have suspended, as of now, they are supposed to let you in. But we've been hearing rumors, and right now they're just rumors, but we've been hearing rumors that they may add countries to the list. And they can do that.
There's more, don't rush, don't worry. Everybody can attend.
If you're from India and you leave tomorrow, on Monday they could sign another executive order adding India to the list, and then you're not going to be able to come back in if you have a visa.